Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studio in Cumming, Georgia, it's time for Forsyth Business Radio.
And hello, friends, and welcome to an exciting episode of Forsyth Business Radio here on Business RadioX. I am your host, Amanda Pierce, joined in studio by three fantastic gentlemen, one of which is going to sit in the catbird seat today and be my co-host. I'd like to introduce Dmitriy Teplinskiy. How are you today?
Good. Thank you.
Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Before I introduce our other guest, Dmitry, really quickly, I'll share with our listeners a little bit about the company that you represent, and then we'll dive into all the awesome and exciting things that are on the horizon. But you might recognize Dmitry from some chamber events. We actually shared a wonderful lunch at a Mexican restaurant just last week. He is the managing partner and founder of AlphaCIS, which is a cybersecurity and managed IT service company. And I'll let him get more into that as the show progresses. But I'd like to introduce our other fantastic guest before we get too far, Dmitry. All right. Let's welcome JJ Quest to the show.
Hello.
Good morning, JJ.
Thank you.
And also Clayton Cain.
Hello.
All right. JJ Quest owns Conquest Strategic Marketing, and that is a local marketing company here in Cumming, Georgia, where we're broadcasting live from. He is the Chief Strategist. Now, I've seen a lot of the great work that you and your organization have done because I see you on social media. I know that you're at the hand of a lot of these very attractive videos that I've been seeing as of late. So share a little bit about the mission of your company with our audience.
Sure, yeah. So Conquest Strategic Marketing, easy for you to say. We were founded in 2007, started kind of small, and we've kind of grown into this regional full-service ad agency. So we were discussing this a little bit before the show, but we're different because, you know, we're not your typical ad agency. We really get into our clients' business, and we act as their marketing director. So, you know, whatever it is, graphic design, video production, geo-targeted marketing, social, we provide all that, but yet you don't have to have that marketing person, you know, in-house with all the, you know, sometimes drama or payroll taxes or things like that. So you get a team instead of just a person, and we take it very personally and very seriously, and call ourselves full service.
Well, that is, it's funny you say that because one of the things I wrote down, your agency prides themselves on the hands-on approach. And I'd like for you just to share a little bit about what sets you apart from other agencies that are in your similar space and what that hands-on approach is.
Sure. We really cut our teeth on automotive, so car dealerships. And there's so much going on, you know, at a car dealership, everything from the service department, salespeople. How do you get customers from your service department into sales? So we really kind of get in their business. We get into the CRM. We find out, you know, who's producing. And then we create like I said, a geo-targeted campaign for them to where we purchase their media, and there's no waste. So we only purchase those types of media that are going to land on the heads of people that might consider them, whether it be a car dealership or a plumber or a animal clinic or, you know, things like that. So, but we work hand in hand with them. You know, that word partner and partnership is used so commonly, but we really feel like we are part of their business.
I like that. It sounds like a good core mission and values that you guys have. And again, I've seen the work that you've done within the community. So I'd like to circle back around and talk about some of the people that maybe you've done business with or who you look to do business with as well. But before we get too far into the conversation, I'd like to introduce our other awesome guest today, Mr. Clayton Cain. He is a partner at Cain and May's Trial Lawyers. And Clayton and I met through service on a local board and recognized that we had a lot in common, and we've kind of remained in each other's spheres ever since. So share with us, I know that you underwent a merger just recently, Clayton. Tell our listeners a little bit about your firm and a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah, so I started my firm back in 2017, focused strictly on personal injury and trial work. We represent individuals that have been injured in car wrecks, trucking accidents, negligent security type cases, dog bites, really anything that, you know, that we can get into the courtroom on and go to trial on, we're going to handle. And recently we merged with John Mays and John A. Mays PC to form Cain and Mays Trial Lawyers. So now we're just able to really represent more people, do it more efficiently, and our goal is to always maximize the value of our clients' cases through the litigation and trial process, which is really how we differentiate ourselves from other type of personal injury firms. Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about why you chose to merge versus maintaining the practice on your own.
It just allows us to reach more people, represent more people within the community, provides more resources, more hands-on, and again, I wanted to practice law with somebody that I trust, that I know, and John's a good friend of mine. He's actually he's married to a cousin of mine, so we're technically family, and it just allows us to really represent people more in a family atmosphere, and really gives a more hands-on approach to where we can just offer more to our clients and to the community.
Yeah, a robust offerings.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you do a lot within the community, and that's something that we all kind of have in common. So I want to put a pin in that and revisit community when we all have our discussion. But really quickly, you also have a unique background as a baseball player in a pretty high accolade as well within the Gwinnett County area. So share with our listeners a little bit about your passion for the sport.
Yeah, so I grew up playing sports, grew up playing baseball, basketball, football, played football and baseball in high school, and chose to continue baseball at Georgia, at University of Georgia. Signed there out of high school, played there for 3 years. Great time. Ended up transferring to Valdosta State, where I finished my college career. And there's just, I like to run my business kind of like a sports organization. A lot of discipline, a lot of time management, that type of teamwork that we try to instill in our staff. And having that history and having that background of playing sports at the collegiate level is just it's something that I'll always take with me, and I'll always instill in business and anything that we do. So it's just something to always look back on and always be thankful for. Grew up having some of the best role models and mentors and the coaches that I had growing up, from high school to college. I mean, they're some of the most influential people in my life, and they've really instilled some of the values that I try to instill in the firm and in the business.
That's funny you say that, and I'm glad you mentioned it, because something that I read on your beautifully revamped website, Clayton, is that you're able to carry that competitive spirit that you learned from sports and the discipline, et cetera, and parallel that into your firm and into the world of a trial. I can imagine as an attorney or as a lawyer that being enthusiastic about your mission to succeed for your client is top tier, and that competition allows you to kind of win the case.
Right. I mean, the competition is what drives us. I mean, it's what we base a lot of what we do on. When I went to law school, I went to be a sports agent. I was working for a sports agency. I was getting my master's at Georgia State. The guy that I was working for said, if you want to be a sports agent, go to law school. So I went to law school, and lo and behold, I got involved in a trial competition my first year in law school, and was able to correlate trial with sports. You got one side against the other. You got the judge, the umpire, the referee. You got the audience, which is the jury, and you put on a show. You got to prepare the same way. You have to know your opponent the same way. And so again, one of our core values at the firm is competitive, and it is to compete. We compete in everything that we do. We prepare in everything that we do. We're always going to be the most prepared team in the room, and we're always going to compete our butts off no matter what. And that is likened to to my background in sports. And I think that competitive nature and that competitive edge gives us a little bit of an advantage when we get in the courtroom.
I like it. You're the designated hitter.
Absolutely.
Woo!
Yeah, absolutely.
Dmitriy, I'd like to just have you also share with our listeners, because not everybody knows you as well as I do, a little bit about how you kind of were inspired to start your company, and a little bit about what you guys do at AlphaCIS.
Yeah, so just like JJ, we are kind of almost a outsourced service that companies would get. So instead of them paying for an IT personnel or an IT staff, we're kind of the outsource for them to do so. So we basically come in. There's no payroll, right? It's just we have some contracts, but for the most part, they get all the benefits of having an entire IT team as opposed to just one person for again fraction of the cost too. So and then we just kind of started off really. I mean, my background is in finance, so I went to Georgia State for that, and I got like one of those real jobs where you sit in a cubicle for. I did that for about
cubicle world. We've all been there.
Yes, we have.
I did that for about a year, I think, and then in that time, I just realized that that probably wasn't going to be my thing. So I ventured off, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I just knew I wasn't going to do that. So I was like, well, I'll be a trainer at the gym. I was like, that should give me like $12 an hour or whatever. So and then at the same time, I kind of started the IT thing because I've always been into it, and I've always had it as the back of my mind, kind of what I wanted to do. And then did a couple of other things in between then, and then just kind of landed back to back to the where I started from.
He's being very humble. First of all, I'd like to introduce the host of a series that's going to be launching here next month on Forsyth Business Radio, and it's called The Startup Factory. So share with our listeners a little bit about the mission behind the Startup Factory and your vision for that show. Yeah,
so I was super excited about that. About 8 months ago, I got into marketing, sort of. And so what that did for me is I was just trying to figure out, how can I kind of help out the community but not be salesy, because I hate salesy. So to me, that's, it's just the worst. I see it, and I feel like everybody else can see it through the sales guys. So I was like, what is the best way to not be salesy, still offer value to the community, and then just kind of organically, attract customers and help out everybody? And so the idea came to mind for the Startup Factory, where it was going to be a show. And again, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do this all, but at the time I was like, it's going to be a show. I wanted to do a video of it. So there would be, it could be chopped up. It could be recorded. There would be, keywords. And the way it would benefit the community basically is by giving out these recordings for free to the participants. With the hopes that they will then repurpose that content and use it to help propel their message. That's exactly it, right? I mean, if you have a 45-minute video podcast that gets turned into a blog article, where you have a blog article, now you could take snippets of that video. You have a short reel for your Instagram, your YouTube channels, TikTok. You can then take it, you can make it a longer content by, taking longer pieces. You and JJ are speaking the same language. Yes, sounds like the conversation we were having before the show. Yep. I kind of want to bring a topic to the table where we can all speak about. And I know, Clayton, you've just undergone, or you're kind of undergoing a rebrand, but not really rebrand, merge, and new kind of face of the company. And JJ, that's something that you do well. And obviously, Dmitriy, you see the value in content creation and repurposing that. So I'd kind of like to open up the conversation to strategic marketing, some of the things that we all do in our world to help get our message out there. What are some things that you have seen work and some things possibly fail in the past? And JJ, since you are the expert in that arena, I'll start with you. Maybe share some successes or some failures or some snafus.
Yeah, well, speaking specifically to Clayton and, rebranding and everything and just the industry that you're in, I can't speak highly enough for trust marketing. It's one thing, it's such a competitive business that you're in, so yes, you're going to have to, buy an SEM campaign and make sure that you're in front of people that are looking for you. You're going to have to be well optimized, but telling the story or letting your clients tell the story of what it was like working with you, how easy it was, and creating those in small video clippets, running those on social, having them on your website. You can put the longer version on your website, but that's really whether you're selling cars or you're selling a service or you're selling yourself, people don't always they don't want to hear from the owner of the company. And then that's another topic we should talk about. They should see, you and your partner and the lawyers in your firm, but they really want to hear from people that have experienced your service or experienced your product. And, videos is the way to do that. And there's so many ways to, once you have video, like Dmitriy was saying, you can chop it up into smaller pieces, share it as a story. But definitely once you've captured a potential client, they go to your website and they want to get the personality of your firm. There's many, many ways to do that, but I would say video.
I've been seeing a lot of your videos, like testimonials, just out of curiosity, because not everybody is as confident or as educated, on how to present a message. Do you kind of give them a little bit of, what's the word? What am I looking for? Constructive criticism. Do you give them any like training or guidance at all when you're filming someone's testimonial videos? Yeah.
What we'll do is let them just put them in front of the camera first, and just let them go, because a lot of times what comes from their heart and their first take is almost always the best, and then from there, we'll maybe
tweak it.
Poke and prod with questions. Tell us what it was like, what this experience was like, and we'll have a list of those ready to go, just in case somebody freezes up and they don't know what to say. But for the most part, if you've invited someone to, do a video testimonial, they're going to come with some thoughts in mind. But like I said, usually what they have to say first is gold.
What do you think is the best way of doing it? Is it having, how you have some testimonials, they're like somebody's like holding a shaky camera and then in their bathroom or whatever, making the video, or the professional, like done by an actor maybe?
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Well, I don't think actors should ever do testimonials. In fact, it annoys me when I hear
this is a paid testimonial.
Paid testimonial, I mean, I know there's some legalities and disclaimers there that have to. For instance, Chick-fil-A does that for a reason.
I was going to say that.
But there's a place for both. But if it's on your website, I think it should be produced. It should have a nice setting. It should be warm. It should be edited.
Polished.
Yeah, yep. Absolutely. But if the best you can do is, getting a testimonial of one of your own clients on a cell phone, if that's the best you can do, and maybe you can't afford a production crew, or then you should do it. But at the end of the day, it's people relaying their experience to other people.
That's what we noticed, is that when I was trying to do that myself, I would ask our clients to be like, hey, can you record a testimonial?
Yeah.
And then you get this crap back, and you're just like,
sure.
Now we're not going to use that.
Yeah.
So
getting them in a controlled environment.
That's that's where.
Yeah. And, we may throw out some ideas beforehand. Here's what we would like to achieve with your testimonial, not giving them any exact ideas, but maybe mention how did this change your life, or how did this affect your family, or what was the,
Well, because a lot of it, right, is people buy not because it's a, financially a good decision 99% of the time, right? I don't know what the percentage is, but I think most of your decision making is on how you feel when you make the purchases. Isn't that correct?
Which brings me to a good point in your world, Clayton. Obviously, a lot of what you do is trust-based. People are entrusting you with their case, hoping for the best outcome.
Right.
So making sure that you deliver a concise message, and also testimonials, I'm sure, are super powerful in your world, because I can only imagine just Googling, an attorney. Obviously, we'll come back to SEO. So share a little bit about your experience with personal testimonies helping your business, and a little bit about your experience with the rebranding and kind of incorporating some of those elements to deliver your message to the community.
Well, I mean, as everybody knows, because everybody watches TV, everybody drives a car, everybody listens to the radio, legal marketing, specifically personal injury legal marketing, has blown up in the past 5, 10, 15 years. Obviously, you got the Godfather, John Morgan, who kind of
bigger is better.
Yeah, kind of just built the road for legal marketing, and size matters, and billboards everywhere and everything like that. Yeah. And that does play a part in trying to land clients, because if they don't know who you are, they can't hire you, obviously, right? But that sense of trust and that sense of testimonials from former clients plays a huge role in it. And, obviously we go through different levels of marketing. First, you got to get them in the door. We have to get potential clients in the door. SEO, social media, community, out of, whatever it may be. We got to get people to know who we are, how to contact us, get them through the door, and then we have to build that trust, right? Because they're not going to trust us at the start. I mean, plain and simple, unless they were a referral from a former client or from somebody else, from another attorney or something like that, that trust is going to have to be built as we go. It's going to be earned. And so those former client testimonials, the Google reviews, all of our new clients are always looking at Google reviews. They're always looking at what other people are saying. We have a brand video on our website that has a couple video testimonials from former clients to discuss our process, how we communicate, and gives us that sense of trust from the beginning. Because, again, we're competing with law firms that have basically an endless marketing budget. They can put out as many commercials, as many radio ads, as many billboards as they want, and they control the market. So we have to take another route, and we have to take another angle at marketing and build that trust first. And so that's why we do a lot of community-based marketing. That's why we do a lot of, events and getting out and sponsorships and things like that, so they can see our face first. They're not seeing an ad. They're seeing our face first, and then when they see an ad down the road, whether it's paid ads or social media or whatever, we saw that, we saw them at the event the other day or something like that.
Right. Did you just, correct me if I'm wrong, I was at an event at the Hudgens Art Center not too long ago. Didn't you guys sponsor that?
Yep.
Yeah.
We did.
I love that you guys are so involved.
I got a question though. Okay. So, and tell me if this, and the reason why I'm asking is because I've actually ran into this, but content marketing, have you guys done any of that kind of, and I'll give you an example of what that is. So my dad was he was putting together a will, and he did a bunch of research, started doing research, right? Like being like, well, what goes into the will, right? Like, so, you Google, right, stuff. And then he found a YouTube channel where this lawyer was basically, it seemed like to me, he was giving out, every single piece of information there is on what you should include in it, what things that you should look for, and gave out, specific examples of, what those things might be. So, and this guy had, crazy subscriptions and basically positioned himself as a leader in the marketplace of being able to, say, hey, if I need a will, like that guy would be the dude that I would go to, except he wasn't here. He was in Arizona or something. Right. But if he was here, I would, you betcha I'd be calling him, just because I know that he knows what he's talking about, just by posting up all this, free content that I'm getting. I'm still going to have to hire him because I don't, still going to pay him. But the fact that he was able to demonstrate to me that I didn't see any of his ads or anything, right. I don't know anything,
Truly organic. Yeah.
Right, it was just 100% organic.
And that content marketing is huge. We do a lot of it, whether it's through blog posting. We don't necessarily do the YouTube and all that, but we do, on the website, we do social media, we do stuff like that, where the content is crucial because we can, we have to take certain steps to say this is not legal advice, but hey, if you get in a car wreck, here's the top 3 things that you need to do. Contact your insurance company, take pictures, get the other driver's insurance information, that type of stuff that gives the information, that provides that content. And again, it sets yourself apart from other firms or other lawyers to say, hey, we are the leaders in this market. We are the experts in this field. We know what we're talking about, whether it's with car wrecks, trucking cases, whatever it may be. And to create that content and utilize that content to show our expertise is crucial for what we do. Because again, we got to get them in the door. We got to show our worth, and we got to explain why potential clients should go with us versus another firm, because we can maximize the value of your case. We do things a little bit differently, and we can advance that and show that through the content marketing. And so that's absolutely, it's huge, and it's a big part of what we do.
Yeah.
For those of you who are just joining us, you are on Forsyth Business Radio, and we are speaking with JJ Quest of Conquest Marketing, and also Clayton Cain, partner at Cain and Mays Trial Lawyers, and my co-host today, Dmitriy Teplinskiy. I practiced saying that name a million times, with AlphaCIS, and I am your host, Amanda Pierce. And we've got some great different positions on some kind of unique topics here, and I want to turn the tables a little bit because I know I could talk about marketing forever, and I'm sure you could too, JJ. But something that we all kind of shared that's unique that I'd like to just speak about for a minute is our love for let's say, athletics or extreme sports. So, JJ, we were talking before the show, and I just learned that you are a mountain biker.
Yeah.
And Clayton gave us a little bit of a taste of his baseball background. And here we have Mr. Dmitriy, who's just the powerhouse of all sorts, but also he's an enthusiastic karate father and a gym guru. And I myself love all things Orange Theory and high-intensity interval training. So let's just kind of share a little bit of a fun fact about ourselves within that realm. And we'll start with you, JJ. Tell me about when you broke your collarbone trying to...
Oh, yeah.
Go down the mountains in Santa Fe.
Yeah, mostly on the dirt bikes, really, is where I broke the bones. But now I've got a 11-year-old son who's really into mountain biking, and he's about to be faster than I am. He's just a little guy, but we're so blessed to have so many mountain bike trails in Forsyth County. I mean, whether you want really extreme or just an easy Sunday ride, but I don't know if that was a fun fact or not. But yeah, we just love it. It's great. You always get a great rush. You know, it's kind of like they call it a runner's high after you ride. And I don't know. I think it keeps me young and it keeps me able to do stuff with my son. And
you can never let him beat you, JJ.
I don't know.
You can never. Don't you? I forgot if you have a son or a daughter, Clayton.
Son.
Okay, and also Dmitriy has a son too. So you guys are all boy dads.
Yep.
You guys always have to maintain the upper hand.
Yeah,
don't ever let the kid win. He is the worst about letting, what is it, participation sport. I mean, his child is 5 years old and he treats him like he's 15. God bless him. He's going to be a strong man. But you always have to maintain the upper hand, JJ. Just out of curiosity, because I'm not a Forsyth native and you've been in the county longer than I, what are some of the parks or trails that you enjoy when you go on your biking journey?
Charleston Park.
Okay.
Up off 369. It's the entrance is right near the boat ramps there. We've got Haw Creek, which is right out Highway 20. Matt Park is very good.
Thank you. I'm writing these down.
Yeah, those are a couple of our favorites, but you can ride it. There's trails in Dawsonville, but you just never get tired. And then just south of here in Alpharetta, Ropes Mill, and a lot of great places.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now,
ride at your own pace.
how many have you broken any bones in your extreme?
Yeah, like I said, mostly on the dirt bikes.
The dirt bikes,
both wrists and one ankle.
Ooh.
Broke a heel skiing, and that's about the worst of it. But one fun fact, if you really want a fun fact, I rode a bull in a rodeo for 6 seconds.
Nice.
True story. When I was living back in Toledo, Ohio.
That's a long time on a bull, right? 6 seconds.
It went pretty fast. It didn't feel like that long to me. But
Toledo?
I was actually in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Okay.
It was at the fair, and I was working in radio at the time, and a DJ from another station had challenged me to, see who could stay on a bull longer in the rodeo.
He was just trying to eliminate the competition.
Yeah, exactly. But man, that's an adrenaline rush.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Did you have to tie your hand down? So basically you immobilize your hand and you could just be flailing about with only your hand attached to this.
So a funny story on
animal.
that. You're in the chute. You're on this massive bull. This one happened to have horns. His name was St. Pete. I remember this. And you slide your legs down, on both sides of the bull, and you're in this, and he's not happy to be there, so he's rocking back and forth. Then they take your hand, of course you're wearing a glove, and they wrap this leather rope around your hand, and then they kind of pound it down, make sure I said to the guy who was doing it, I said, "Are you sure I'm going to come out of this?" He said, "Oh yeah, you'll come out." I was like, and the gate opened, and
hold on tight, fella.
I have it on VHS video. To
oh my
show
gosh, I'd love to
grandkids.
see that. Wait, can we still buy VHS
No.
players anymore? Dang it, we need to have the remastered version.
Yeah, I need to get it.
Yeah, I feel like after watching Yellowstone, I'm a pro bull rider. So that's is that what it felt like? Have you watched that show?
Yes.
Yeah, is that what it felt like? You get in there, you get tied down, and
it's crazy. I mean, but I don't know at any point in my life if I've ever had more adrenaline pumping through my body than before that gate opened. And but I could say I did it.
I say
and I did hit the dirt.
The bull had more adrenaline pumping than you.
Did you beat the other DJ?
Oh, the gate opened and he went off immediately. He let go. So
Nice.
I forgot that you had some experience in radio.
Yeah.
Yes. How does it feel to be back behind
Feels
the
great.
microphone? Yeah,
Feels
you're
great.
a natural.
Thanks.
All right, Clayton. So first of all, I want to hear the interesting fact or whatever that you're going to tell us, but I do want you to share, because I'm so passionate about I keep calling it a nonprofit, but your effort that is for bridging the gap with former athletes and, real world integration. So Clayton established an organization. Help me fill in the blanks here.
Yeah, so we established, it's called Athletes in Transition. And so when I got finished playing college ball, I was a fifth-year senior. I was beat up. I was an All-American that year. And I had a couple offers to go sign as a free agent to play professional baseball. But, again, I was 23, 24 years old, beat up, and said, I'm done. I don't want to pursue it anymore. But after that, I struggled with the gap between sports and the real world.
Yeah.
It's basically like, what am I going to do now? Because I had never really prepared for life after sports. And so through that experience, I realized that it wasn't just me, that's common. I mean, you hear it all the time with professional athletes where they get done playing and they go out on their own and they just kind of fall off the wagon. They don't know what to do next. They don't know how to interview. They don't know how to build a resume. They don't know anything about the business world. And so what we've created is a organization that allows former athletes, high school, college, and professional athletes to team up with a mentor, whether it's in insurance, whether it's in law, whether it's in marketing, whether, in medicine, whatever it is. And it allows them to bridge that gap between sports or athletics and getting into the real world and finding a job. And it really, and you can even start it while you're still playing. So like for colleges, for example, we can go to college athletes and say, hey, the chances of you moving on and making it to the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, or playing professional sports is slim. It's slim. So let's go ahead and start preparing for after sports. Let's go ahead and start thinking about what you want to do, what industry you want to get in. What do you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you want to open your own business? Because we can help with that. That again, the startup podcast is going to be great for that, because a lot of people want to do that, but they don't know how.
Well, that's exactly it. Yeah, that's a lot of people just are excited and they're like, yeah, let's do it. But then when it comes down to it, like, well, how do you start an LLC? Yeah, like what are you? What's marketing? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I remember when I started my firm, I had no clue what I was doing. Right. I mean, accounting, financing, marketing, budgeting, and figuring all that out. I could be a lawyer and go try a case, but to do all of that other stuff, I mean, you got to learn on the fly. So Athletes in Transition just helps former athletes and current athletes bridge that gap and being able to take that next step and be prepared for once they enter into the real world.
Right.
I love
Such
that.
a cool thought to have. And I made this with the most respect to those who have served, but I gave this parallel to Clayton, that it's similar to when people come out of the service. If they've been career military, or just the fellows that go and serve 4 or 8 years, and if they were an MP or whatever, how do you take those skills and translate them into the real world and then be able to earn a living for yourself?
Yes.
There's a little bit of a stopgap.
I was going to agree with that. Yeah, I was going to say the same exact thing. Yeah. Right.
For military.
Yeah. And you can take, from a military perspective and athletics, that mindset that former athletes, that former servicemen and women have, that discipline, that teamwork, that doing for others, those type of values translate into the business world great. I mean, from a hiring perspective, I'm always asking those questions. Were you a former athlete? Did you serve? Stuff like that, because you automatically know that they're going to have those values and they're going to practice those values that create a successful.
Great people to hire for sure.
Absolutely.
Military and athletes.
Absolutely. They have that fortitude. Yep. Now share a fun, a sports story or fact with us. There's got to be something funny or serendipitous from your ball days.
Man, there's a lot. Just to pick one's a tough one. I don't know.
On the spot.
I don't know. Yeah, you put.
Okay, well, you can think about it.
I can't think of one specific thing.
Funny fact.
Played with a lot of guys that went on to have very successful Major League Baseball careers. One in particular was one summer I roomed. We were on Team Georgia, and we went out to Oklahoma, Norman, Oklahoma, I think it was, to play in a tournament, and my roommate out there was Buster Posey, who just retired from the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
He's likely a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Wow.
Great guy. But that was the benefit of playing, travel.
You're
baseball
also
and
a Hall of
competitive.
Famer.
Yes,
You're a Gwinnett County Hall of Famer.
I'm a Gwinnett County Hall of Famer.
All right.
That's right. I guess that could be an interesting fact.
Yeah.
Are you teaching your son to play baseball?
We have a ball, and he's two. He's about to turn 3 in June.
Yeah.
So but he'll go, and when the Braves were going through the World Series and all that, we'd be sitting up at night, and he watched every inning.
That's great.
And if you're
my wife would always, she'd be like, he needs to go to bed and all this. I'm like, come on, this is a once in a lifetime thing. And so she, obviously she gets it. She understands. She appreciates it because she could see, that he was loving it. He was watching the games, and in the middle of an inning, he'd go and get his bat and his tee. He'd put the ball on the tee, and he'd hit it. And so he's, my thing is, I grew up, in a disciplined household, and say you're going to play sports, you're going to do all this, and I appreciate that so much, and I, I'm going to leave it up to him. He can do whatever he wants. If he wants to play golf, go play golf. If he wants to play baseball, go play baseball. The one thing I'm not going to let him do is play football.
And why is that?
Too many head injuries.
Too many head
injuries.
Feel the same way.
Do it.
If you guys are listening live, it's the 5th, and correct me if I'm wrong, opening game for the Braves, right?
Oh,
is
yeah.
on the 7th. Which is
Exciting.
just a couple days. Woo, woo, the warmer weather.
Yeah.
Get out there and hit some balls. Dmitry, tell us really quickly about some of your skateboarding adventures and all of the off-roading that you do with your cool hobby Jeep.
So my kid just recently got into just scooters, the Razor scooter, and we go to
Those were popular when I was a child, by the way. They've made a comeback.
They're back.
Yeah, they're back. Yeah. So I take him to the skate park, and I just got tired of just sitting on the side, browsing my phone. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get back into skateboarding. So that's been my. So next time you see me in a cast, that's the reason why.
Yes. Okay. But you're silly because you're saying it's just for the kid, but you like to skateboard by yourself.
That is
when
true.
He's not there with you.
That
you're
did happen as well. Yeah.
They're getting it.
Shredding it.
Really curious. You guys have been so kind to entertain all my various topics, not only about business, but about involvement and marketing in the community. Something that we all share is a passion for servant leadership. JJ, I know that you're a Rotarian, as am I, and we often are in the same Rotary at 7:30 in the morning. Go ahead and plug the Rotary Club, because I don't know.
Lanier Forsyth Rotary.
Lanier Forsyth.
The best.
Clayton, you and I participate in a variety of boards and all kinds of networking events and stuff like that together. And same thing with Dmitry. So share a little bit about how I'm a firm believer that service leads to sales, and we all sell something, if not ourselves, in a legal manner. That disclaimer. Share a little bit about the importance of, what is it with the Rotary, service above or self? Tell me with the mission.
Service above self?
Service above self. Is that what it is? You recite it every day, JJ.
No, every Tuesday.
Oh, every Tuesday. Man, I know Derek would know it. Son of a gun. Either way, about the importance of serving your communities, your families, or whoever you serve versus just trying to hard sell. Something that we all understand the importance of is relationship development, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to come into fruition instantaneously. So here's just some topics for the table. We're talking about servant leadership. We're talking about community participation and how they integrate into the businesses.
Okay.
JJ, I see you doing the head nod.
Sure. The benefits are obvious for the community. I truly believe that giving out good, the good comes back. And we've definitely seen that, not just through the Rotary, because that's a group effort, but there have been organizations that have asked us to help them with their marketing, and we absolutely want to do that. We've run into people, at some of our clients' locations that have gone on to, start their own businesses, and we jump at chances like that. In fact, we want to set aside a certain amount of hours and time every year to do those kinds of things. And the other thing is, it just it just helps build your network. And you just can't put a value on that. Since I joined the Rotary Club and the Chamber, just the elbows that I rub with and the people that I meet, just being here around, this table, you have to put yourself out there, and it does come back. Not always in the way that you expect, but and maybe not always monetarily or financially, but it always comes back in some way.
I like that. And you mentioned something that's kind of interesting, because I know that translates into your world, Clayton, about pro bono. So did I understand you correctly that you basically designate a number of man hours and resources on an annual basis to essentially give?
That's exactly right.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, quarterly,
JJ.
Annually, but yes.
Wow.
Yep.
So again, the term in your world, Clayton, is pro bono. And my question,
what's that mean?
Isn't it?
Never heard of that.
Dang it,
Never heard of
that. I heard it on Law and Order. Okay. Does your firm take on any pro bono cases throughout the year? I mean, obviously, again, being service oriented, is that like a percentage on an annual basis, or is it case by case?
Yeah. So we do pro bono work. And so obviously that's just offering our services for free. Most of what we do is on a contingent basis, so we don't charge upfront retainer fees or hourly fees or anything like that. So it's a little bit more difficult to do it on the personal injury front. But we do, we will take criminal cases. We will handle family law cases. I do a lot of business development and outside general counsel work for local businesses and things like that. So we do, I would probably say 20 hours a week, 20 hours a month of pro bono work where we're giving advice, we're helping somebody set up an LLC, we're helping, somebody who received a citation, traffic violation or something like that. And we say, hey, this won't take but a couple hours of our time. We'll handle this pro bono. And, the truth of the matter is not everybody has, the means to hire lawyers. And that's why we're able to do what we do on a contingent basis. Because most of our clients can't come to us and say, hey, we're going to give you a $10,000 retainer fee if you go sue this insurance company for us. We do everything up front for our clients. So we cover all the expenses, we cover all the filing fees, deposition costs, and everything, because we know that they can't pay for it out of pocket, and they are going up against billion-dollar industries and insurance companies. And so, that's not, we get paid back on the back end on that, but that's not necessarily pro bono, but it is something that we can offer that helps give a voice to the citizens and to the community that they wouldn't otherwise have. Absolutely. Yeah. And so, we do it mainly from a criminal defense standpoint, where they can't come in and hire lawyers at $250, $500 an hour, something like that. When I first started, Gwinnett does a really cool thing where they have an appointed list. And so, let's say you get arrested and you're read your rights. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, we will provide you one, right? So Gwinnett does not necessarily have a public defender's office. They have an appointed list where they have private attorneys around the community that will be on this appointed list. And so for indigent defendants who cannot afford an attorney, they can come in and say, hey, here's 10 new cases, and you work those cases up and provide that service for individuals throughout the community that would not otherwise be able to afford it. And that is important, because again, at some point, I'm a big believer in the law of attraction and being able to get back what you give out and things like that. And that is a big part of it. And community, that's why we do what we do. We want to get involved. We want to help people out.
Right. Clayton and JJ, it sounds like you guys both need to be definitely on the startup factory, because it sounds like you guys all have a lot of value stuff to give to people that are either down on their luck or like you said, even starting an LLC or just starting somebody off with just a basic marketing thing. JJ, I can ask you this. What would be let's say your typical client comes in being like, I have no idea what I'm doing. How do I, what are some of the, questions that you would ask a new client to kind of sort of understand better where their business is and where they're headed to,
sure,
and kind of help develop, and maybe people can use, strategy, and maybe people could use that to kind of, develop that themselves.
Right. First question I ask is, what's important to you? Is it phone calls? Is it people coming to your website? Is it just getting your brand out there? So we
can't call to action.
Yeah, exactly. What do you want people to do? What's the message you want people to hear? And how does that translate? How is that, what's most important to you? what's going to lead, to the most conversions into a sale or a service. And then from there, find out, what kind of budget they're working with. And then, for example, a law firm, I think a law firm needs to, like your Morgan & Morgans, if you can afford it, you have to, we talk about the funnel. And for people that are listening that don't know what that is, it's people are somewhere in the funnel. They're either at the high in the funnel where maybe they're not considering it. Like, you don't always know that you're going to need a lawyer, right? But you have to put your name out there for when somebody does. And then as they move down to the bottom of the funnel, they're ready to take action. So, once we find out their budget, determine how much we're going to spend on high funnel, low funnel. And then, what a lot of companies don't think about is, okay, we've got this amount of money to spend on whatever medium it is, but you also have to produce content to create that advertising. So,
hey, JJ, would a podcast be a good piece of content for
absolutely
an agency like yours to utilize?
Absolutely. Yeah. Great point, Amanda. But that's kind of how we go about it. Find out. We ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
What are your profit goals? Where are you now? Where do you want to be by the end of the year, next month? And then from there, we can start to recommend different mediums and ways to get the word out there. With our smaller companies, I think it's really important that we mentioned this earlier. Don't waste money. Don't.
You mentioned budget, and that's the thing is like even people will ask me budget, like, well, I don't know how many dollars it takes to get something accomplished, because a lot of the times people don't set budgets, especially for smaller companies, right? Like, you don't have the upper ups telling you, hey, you got $100,000 to waste this month,
right,
on ads. So it's like, how do people determine how many dollars they should spend on their ad?
Let's ask Clayton that question.
Yeah.
So as somebody, you're doing the rebrand, obviously we recognize community participation is on the forefront. But if a person like JJ or myself were to come into your world and ask you what you're looking to achieve, like what's the next step with your merger, et cetera, what are those key points that you're looking to be exercised with any one of these companies?
Right. So, first and foremost, we're always looking to optimize a return, right? We're looking for what's going to reach the most amount of people, what's going to give us the most amount of leads, intakes that we can convert into real clients, right? And optimizing a return is crucial to forecast. It's difficult at sometimes because whether it's SEO, whether it's billboards, whether it's TV ads, radio ads, there are certain things that we can do to determine whether or not this is going to be a realistic return that we're going to make a profit on and everything like that. But at the end of the day, with our industry and our business, it is tough because we don't know what types of cases we're going to get. If we spend, X amount of money a month on SEO and we get smaller cases, and it's not going to be good. But every now and then you're going to get that
Sure.
big high value trucking type case that is going to present, is going to provide that return. And so we're always keeping reports. We're always making sure that we understand where all of our callers, all of our leads are coming from, what campaigns are coming from, what are they, we go as specific as typing, what did you type into Google to find us?
Smart.
What keywords were you typing in? Because everybody can type in,
Personal injury.
Right. And typically they say, well, I just found you via Google. Okay, well, let's get more specific. Did you type in personal injury near me, personal injury
Right.
Lawrenceville, personal injury Forsyth, car wreck attorney? We want to know that because then that's going to help somebody like you, JJ, who can better understand and optimize what those keywords are doing from a Google thing, which is just an algorithm in itself that is.
For those listening, and I'm not trying to be funny, but a lot of people are unfamiliar with the acronym SEO, which we've referenced several times. It stands for Search Engine Optimization. Now, JJ, I'd like you to learn me something. That's a Southern term.
Okay.
Totally broken English. Learn me. You mentioned SEM. What's that?
Search engine marketing.
Nice.
Your Google ads.
Okay, exactly what Clayton was talking about.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for teaching it.
And another thing that I noticed is that, and I guess, JJ, you probably see this often, right? Customers come in like Clayton, right? and you guys, you're like, okay, hey, I have this much money to spend on ads, right, or on marketing. And what a lot of people I feel like fall into is this idea that like, hey, I'm dropping this money, and then tomorrow I better see my inbox blow up with leads, right?
Right.
And oftentimes that is not the case. And I'm sure, JJ, you could probably talk a little bit more about that and how actually marketing works and organic marketing, and how,
Yeah, organic marketing really helps you to raise your hand in the Google organic search when someone is looking for something that you provide. And, you can do that through a myriad of different ways, obviously. Blogs on your website, content, video content ranks very highly. We have found recently that YouTube videos are being searched and shown organically. For example, we have a car dealership where we shoot a walk-around video of a used car that came in, and it's just a 30, 45-second video.
What is it a shorter form or longer format that you notice would get better results?
Shorter form. Yep. But we noticed, in this client's YouTube page that these particular videos were getting 800, 900, over 1,000 views, and it's because someone was searching for a 2018 Dodge Challenger, and Google said, there it is on YouTube. I'm going to put it in organic. And the beauty of that is it shows up. It looks totally different than everything in organic because it actually shows up as a video. So, but I don't know if that answers your question or not. But
I think that's good.
Hey Clayton, what do you say we get 30 billboards down 85 and plaster your face and some catchy slogan on it?
In pain, call Cain. Is that what you're talking about?
I love it, and you know who I'm talking about too.
No, I mean,
pick one.
The billboard market is interesting because billboard marketing continuously shows a return. I mean, it continuously year in year out it shows a good return because it's branding. Everybody, we have a couple of billboards on 316. Our phone number's not on it. It's just, here's who we are. Call us if you need us, or it's recognizable. It's branding. We want people to know who we are. It has our website on it. But again, we don't have those catchy phrases. We don't have all that type of stuff. But again, it works because it
top of mind awareness.
Top of mind. Yeah. I mean, people see it, people know it, people are aware of it. And so when they do get into an accident or need our service, I saw, they see those. Yeah. In their mind.
In pain, call Clayton. I'm thinking of this crazy one that I saw headed towards North Carolina. My parents live in Virginia, so I drive up 85 where they're forever doing road work. And it's like, you want to scream? Call Joaquin. And like the numbers are like all twos. It's like 470-222-22222.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I can only remember my mother's telephone number by heart, but I can remember these gimmicky billboard personal whatever attorneys.
Sure. Yep.
And it is gimmicky, yes. So as this conversation comes to an end, because I could talk to you guys forever, just out of curiosity, you have a well-respected firm in the Gwinnett and surrounding areas, and I'd say that your image, just from a third-party perspective, is very polished. It's very professional. It's not gimmicky, and I know that's something you worked really hard not to fall into that cadence. And right. JJ, you kind of help people create their own brand, etc.
Sure.
Do you think there is any value in having a kind of catchy slogan, even kind of quirky tagline or something like that, just for memory's sake?
Absolutely.
Okay, so from the marketing standpoint, yes. And then from the image that you want to present, you don't want to fall into that. So talk about that parallel or...
Right, because
the benefits
we want to differentiate ourselves, right? I mean, that's first and foremost. We want to differentiate ourselves because, especially in the personal injury realm, I mean, again, everybody sees it, everybody knows it, everybody sees the billboards, the TV ads, the radio ads. They see all that stuff. So there's part of it that we have to compete with those people. We have to compete with those firms. We have to get our name out there so we can be recognized, whether it is that out-of-home marketing or through digital marketing, social media, whatever it is. But again, we have to do things differently to differentiate ourselves so we can be seen as not the gimmicky, not the ambulance chasing billboard type attorneys. I mean, but that's just a real thing. Everybody sees personal injury. They go, well, you're an ambulance chaser.
Right.
No, not necessarily, because all we do is, our goal at our theory and the way that we kind of brand ourselves is we're going to maximize the value of our clients' cases through utilizing innovative systems, processes, and actually litigating and trying cases. We go to court. Mm-hmm. We take depositions. We are putting, essentially where our money, where our mouth is, and we're putting up a fight against these insurance companies where, unfortunately, a lot of the gimmicky type firms, they just want a quick settlement.
Yeah,
they're doing a disjustice to their clients because they're not getting the full value of what their client's case is. They're not willing to spend the money and resources and time to litigate a case, to go to trial for fear of losing or fear of, not getting the best return on their money and on their marketing. So
I would recommend that you stay that course. Mm-hmm. Stay genuine, caring, whatever those words are.
I'll tell you what those words are, JJ. Thank you, because at Cain and Mays, they pride themselves on preparation, persistence, and production.
Nice.
That's right. Yeah, the 3 Ps. That's
right.
Those are
catchy slogans.
That's right. Yeah, persistence. I mean, it's more and more firms are going to that because again, there's 2 theories and there's 2 kind of business models in personal injury. It's the high volume, quick turnover. We're going to get as many cases as possible, and we're going to turn them over as quickly as possible, right? And then there's a model of we're only going to work up high value cases, right? But I think there's a medium there. There's an opportunity to be a hybrid type firm where we're not afraid to take small cases. We're not afraid to take the simple rear end wrecks that are low value. That we can settle without going to court or litigating or going to trial. But we also handle big, complex, catastrophic, wrongful death, trucking, products liability, medical malpractice, negligent security, shooting type cases. And there's a method to the madness there because if we have the right systems and processes in place, then we can get those smaller cases done quickly while generating to maximize the value of their case as well. But we can also handle those complex cases and increase the value of our clients' cases throughout that whole process, through litigation, through trial. And so I think, a lot of firms get scared of mixing the two. It's, hey, we're going to go high volume, low value, turnover, turn and burn type deal. Or they want to go the high value, no marketing. We're not going to put ourselves on billboards. We're not going to put ourselves out, on social media. We're going to be the traditional suit, tie. Hey, we mean business every single day type firm. And again, is there a right or wrong answer of which one is the better? No, but I think there is an opportunity there to be a mixture and be a hybrid of both of those types of firms. And that's what we're trying to do because, again, we are community-based. We are trying to help people, whether it's a small car wreck, slip and fall type case, or somebody lost a loved one in a trucking case.
I feel like if you're just being you're actually being your genuine self and kind of projecting that into your company, I feel like you're going to be successful because people aren't going to see you as you're trying to be a poser, trying to look like, right. Trying to have this sort of fake image that really might not even be you, really. Right. So it's just being true to yourself.
Right. And I think that is big, is, talking about community, and we're talking about community a lot here. And I think that's the biggest thing is if you're going to brand yourself as a community-based, client-based type business, not just law firm business in general, then you can't turn away people if it doesn't meet the guidelines. The guidelines. If it doesn't meet things, you can't say we're here for the people and say, well, not you. Not
only certain people.
You're not going to make us enough money this time, so not this time. So, and again, I think that is the big part of it. Is if you're gonna brand yourself in that way, you have to live up.
Be authentic.
Yeah.
I like that word that you used, hybrid. Very cool. And I can totally see that fusion. For those of our listeners who have been intrigued by this conversation or would like to learn more about your firm, where can they find you online? Obviously, your SEO is popping, so they can just Google Cain and Mays, but go ahead and give the direct website.
Cain and Mays, the actual website is CainInjuryLaw.com.
And that's CAIN.
CAININJURYLAW.com.
CainInjuryLaw.com. All right. Give it a Google. And how about yourself, JJ?
Our website is Conquest SM, like strategic marketing.com.
Conquest.
SM.com.
Yep. And Dmitriy, why don't you share with our listeners? First, I want to ask you really quickly, from a cybersecurity perspective, would you be able to assist either one of these organizations with your organization? I feel like Clayton's might fall into your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean, actually, a lot of lawyers, especially the lawyers who do like the closing attorneys, and those guys are, the number one targeted, number one targeted just for the fact that they're always to have, huge amounts of money that they're moving, and the difference between, sending $1 million to a Persian king versus a, in a local account, it could be one digit off. So
hang on, I've gotten those emails before from someone in distress. They're trapped in Guam.
Yeah.
They need $30K wired to them immediately in order for them to be safely returned. And I'm thinking to myself, what's that movie, Taken?
Yeah.
Is this Taken?
Yes.
I haven't heard from this woman in 2 decades. I find her on Facebook. I'm like, Mary, are you okay? She's like, yeah. I was like, you're not in Guam?
And that's,
she's like, no.
And then phishing is the biggest thing for that. So that's kind of what most of the cyber attacks have been. It's the social engineered ones, targeting, the person, targeting the secretary, for example, because they're the ones that want to be the most helpful, and they're the ones who will offer up the most information, because that is literally their job, is to provide service, to be helpful. So, and they're usually, not the ones well versed in cybersecurity.
Discretion.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
good point.
We had a situation like that a couple of weeks ago where my entire staff got an email from me, allegedly, that said, "Hey, I need you to do me a huge gift cards, American Express. I need you to do me a huge favor before you come in today. Will you go buy 5 gift cards? Send me the barcode and all that stuff, and
we'll reimburse you when you get to the office."
One particularly came in and was like, "Is everything okay? What do I need to do? I'll go get them. I'll go to Walmart and get them right now." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I don't need a gift card." And she was like, "No, I got this email from you." And I was like,
wow.
Great.
Yeah.
Which
Okay,
is
here we
totally
go.
viable in our world, because at events we do giveaways. You could have been getting client appreciation. So
a lot
the
of the
phishing
times
is really creative.
They'll do that, and they'll be like a $15 gift card, right? But the next time it's going to be a lot higher, and the same with transferring money and stuff like that. At first it might be a small wire, they'll talk to you a little bit more, and then the next one will be larger, and then we'll keep going on until somebody catches it.
So, do you just come in and put up the security walls and the firewalls to prevent it?
It's kind of a combination of multiple things. We kind of take a look at so there's the physical stuff, like the firewalls, and there's also the endpoint protection for the users. And then a lot of the times it's the training. So training goes along, probably one of the more useful ones, right? If you don't click on that email, they're not going to get to your computer, but it's the training of the staff to recognize
Sounds
that.
like a good podcast.
Yeah, that might be one.
About cybersecurity.
Maybe.
Hey, really quickly, Dmitry, if anyone would like to take advantage of your services for AlphaCIS, where can they find you online?
Yeah, so it's alphaCIS.com.
And then
website.
For those who are curious about your podcast launch here in the near future, go ahead and share with them that awesome website, because you've already launched it and it's already a resource hub. Go ahead and plug it.
It's a ATL Startup Factory, all one,
.com.
.com.
All right. And for those of you listening out there, again, if you'd like to learn more about JJ's services, you can visit conquestsm.com. And for those of you seeking legal advice, counsel, or a partner that will not steer you astray, you guys can find Clayton at CainInjuryLaw.com. And I am your host, Amanda Pierce, and I have enjoyed speaking with you guys tremendously. Thank you for sharing your expertise with our audience and just having fun with me today on this rainy day. I feel like we brightened it up.
Yeah.
Dmitry, thank you so much for co-hosting with me
Absolutely,
today.
it was awesome.
In the catbird seat. And for those of you listening out there, please hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss a beat. You can find us online 24/7 at ForsythBusinessRadioX.com. I listen on iTunes because I have an iPhone. Where do you listen to your podcast,
iTunes,
JJ?
yep.
Clayton?
Spotify.
Spotify.
Yep,
That's you too.
Spotify.
I know you Android fellas, you guys. Well, it's been a great show today, and thank you very much for joining us. Again, I am your host, Amanda Pierce, and for my co-host, Dmitry, this has been Forsyth Business Radio.